Steelers Nation, what is going on? Thank you guys so very much for tuning in to yet another edition of the Steelers Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. And today, guys, with under 2 weeks away from the Steelers attending Latrobe, attending St. Vincent College for the 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers training camp, heading into the 2025 NFL season, there are quite a few players on the Steelers roster that is to look forward to as far as their future goes, but some players that could really have a breakout season. So we're going to be talking about a couple of breakout candidates for the Steelers team.
Yes, and the one guy we're going to start off, and it's the title of this video mainly, is one Payton Wilson. Out of all these candidates, there's one that I am most confident is going to have a much bigger role, that is on the verge of a breakout, on the verge of letting the NFL know who he really is. Payton Wilson, guys. Remember the name. Don't forget the name. I just have a great feeling. I have the utmost confidence that the cat we got from NC State after trading away Kenny Pickett is going to have an amazing season in 2025, man. I just have a great feeling this guy is going to burst onto the scene. Last year, he was a rookie, clearly splitting with Atlanta Roberts and Patrick Queen most of the time. Atlanta Roberts is gone, which sucks because he was such a great thumper in the run game. But Cole Holcomb's healthy. He'll be the new Atlanta Roberts guy, while Payton Wilson will be, ideally, the every game starter alongside Patrick Queen. Payton Wilson only started 4 games last year. Only 4.
No, but he played all 17. He played all 17 games, 4 starts. He had 64 total tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, and the forced fumble that was returned for a touchdown.
Yes. The guy was all over the field. That's one thing you notice about Payton Wilson's game is he is everywhere. Wherever the ball is, he is. He's all over the line of scrimmage in the run game. He's all over in coverage schemes where he is probably one of the better coverage linebackers that we've had in a very long time. And I mean a very long time.
So we're talking Ryan Shazier here. Like, let's be real.
We have gone through a revolving door of linebackers ever since Shazier went down.
Just like you have the defensive backs when we had that awful secondary back in the mid-2010s, I got the linebackers etched in my mind.
Yeah.
I can name you every single one, but I'm not going to.
No.
They just were not good.
No, they weren't. They were one-year rentals. They were somewhat serviceable. We thought we had that next guy in Devin Bush, and there's a reason he's a Cleveland Brown right now.
Indeed.
We got Payton Wilson in the 3rd round last year, and he really made his presence known immediately in that Week 1 Falcons game where he was just in the backfield, behind the line of scrimmage, making tackles in the run game. And then, obviously, as the season went on, his snaps increased. His play time increased, and they really trusted him mostly as that coverage guy because he's the most athletic out of the entire linebacking core. They signed Patrick Queen to a big contract, the biggest free agent contract in Steelers history, and he was the green dot. He was that guy in the middle of the field where you trust him to communicate with the team, to communicate with the defense all over the field,
yes,
to be that captain.
But that did not stop the Steelers from still looking at inside linebacker. Nor should it have, because Roberts was coming to a contract year and Holcomb's future was still uncertain up into last season.
Thus is what allowed us to select Payton Wilson in the 3rd round. And we don't know why he fell to the 3rd round because of injury concerns.
And a lot of
injury concerns, man.
Dating back to his high school days, man. A plethora of knee injuries. It was a torn ACL. Another knee injury that took him out his freshman year. He played through 2 dislocated shoulders at the end of the 2020 season. That was when he was at NC State. And another shoulder injury that made him miss the rest of the 2021 season. But since then, 2022, 2023, fully healthy for NC State. Was a beast, was a dog there. And last year, he was fully healthy.
And the guy doesn't even have an ACL in one of his knees.
No, that was reported after the Steelers selected him.
Yeah.
But the red flags of the injury concern with Wilson is why he fell so far to the 3rd round.
But his last 3 years of full season football action, he's been fully healthy, and there's a reason why he's been a playmaker all over the field.
And it's a reason why the Steelers selected him. Like, yes, the injuries were a concern there, but the Steelers medical staff, they cleared him. They gave Khan the clearance. And Omar Khan, I mean, the guy's a scout. The guy sees talent. The guy sees potential out of players. That's why he selected Payton Wilson. And you saw a lot of that in his rookie season. But before he played a snap of football in the NFL, he made a great first impression at training camp as a rookie when he was the first player on the field before practice even began.
Yeah.
And that was for warm-ups. That was for him to lock in, for him to warm up, get his body ready. And that's just the type of player and human being that Payton Wilson is.
Yeah, that speaks volumes on the football player he is and the effort he puts into his game, man. 25 years old. He's been through a lot of injuries. He's been healthy the last 3 full years of football action. And his effort on the field, off the field, in the film room speaks volumes. That's the type of character, that's the type of player Payton Wilson is. Always trying to better himself. Always trying to make plays wherever he's asked to. Wherever the Steelers ask him to be or wherever the Steelers ask him to do, he's going to do it at the greatest way he can, the fullest confidence that he can.
And he said himself in interviews, he gives 110%, whether it's on defense, special teams, whatever the team asks him for. And that's a man that, if I had to describe Payton Wilson, he's a driven individual and he's a very disciplined man.
Yes, and that's something that, you know, the Steelers have lacked in the locker room, specifically on the offensive side of the football. But even on defense, there have been certain guys that just didn't give a lot of effort or they were hesitant to make plays, right? Payton Wilson, you ain't got to worry about that. This guy, his head is in the game. When he's on the field, he's all about making plays. And that's what he did last year. And I feel like in his second year, with a year under his belt, a year under the system, under the defense, the Steelers got full trust in him now, seeing that he stayed healthy and that he was able to do what he did and split reps with Atlanta Roberts last year. In year 2, he's getting a bigger role. He's going to be starting opposite Patrick Queen. He's probably going to be asked to do a lot more, which is a good thing because that's going to allow Patrick Queen to do whatever he's got to do. They're going to complement each other perfectly. And Payton Wilson, you want him to blitz more, which I think is something we should definitely entertain. Have him blitz more. He's got the speed and the pass rush ability to do so. You want him to cover? He's probably our best covers linebacker since Ryan Shazier. I'm not even joking.
The fastest for sure. The guy ran a 4.41.
The guy is an athlete for his size.
And the man,
6'4", 240?
He put muscle.
He put muscle.
He's 243. He was 233 at the combine. He put 10 pounds of muscle. Again, he's trying to improve his game, and he's trying to grow. He's trying to improve his run defense with the muscle. He's trying to help with his blitzing capabilities with the muscle. And you still got that big body guy with that speed and his athletic ability for coverage. I mean, that's a standout linebacker to a point. Many people said that this guy's the next Luke Kuechly. I wouldn't go that far.
Wow.
Because Luke Kuechly is a rare breed, but so is Payton Wilson. I mean, this guy, he's a rare breed. He doesn't come around often. A player of his size, speed, strength, and capabilities doesn't come around often.
No, this is the Ryan Shazier replacement we have been looking for. Like, this is the guy with the freakish athletic ability, the measurables, the athletic background, the speed, the sideline ability, the coverage aspect. That's the guy we've been looking for. And I feel like the Steelers got him in the 3rd round, an absolute steal there. And I feel like his rookie season was as advertised. Is exactly what you were expecting for a 3rd round pick. I think he even exceeded expectations. He really made a lot of great plays. Who could forget the scoop and score versus the Bengals in the first matchup? Who could forget that incredible interception against Justice Hill? Unbelievable. Followed him completely up the sideline on the wheel route and put his hand up in between Justice Hill's arms and came away with the football with one hand. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable play. And this guy's coming into his 2nd season of NFL action. He's only going to grow.
And he knows that he's going to be taking a larger role. He knows this, hence why he's put on muscle, why he's trying to improve. Again, driven and disciplined.
Yep.
With his routines, his workouts, and just his mentality, what he brings to the field, to his everyday life, really. Yep. That's a man that I can respect, that I'm going to support, especially since he's wearing the black and gold. But this man I see as the number 1 guy as a breakout candidate. Not just for the Steelers, but probably throughout all of the NFL, because this guy is just that damn good.
I agree.
You saw it on the tape, you saw it at NC State, and you saw just glimpses of it in his rookie season.
I agree.
This is a man to definitely keep an eye out for and watch out.
Yeah, like, you know, you not just the Steelers, but the entire NFL world, like Rob stated, you look at all these breakout candidates, man, he's probably at the top of the list or somewhere along the top of the list, because this guy is just really on the verge of letting people know what his name is, what he can bring to the table. That's why I have full confidence in Payton Wilson. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't had this much confidence in a 2nd-year guy to break out or to see a bigger role or to deliver for the Steelers in a long time. I haven't had this much trust in a player to do that. And I couldn't tell you when. I couldn't remember when. If I had to give you a more recent example, probably Devin Bush. Because Devin Bush's rookie season was really well. And then year 2, he tore his ACL, and he never recovered.
Never the same.
Never recovered. Hopefully, Payton Wilson, the same thing doesn't happen. God knows we don't need that. But Payton Wilson, I just got a great feeling that this guy is going to be the next great star in the middle of the pack for that defense. The Steelers, man, one of the things they know how to breed is linebackers. Now, recently, that hasn't been our greatest accomplishment. But you look at the history, the linebacker core in general, inside, outside, has been very successful. And I feel like we're going to get another great story here, another great player in Payton Wilson.
Now, there's a lot to look forward to and a lot of excitement coming out of Payton Wilson's game. I can't wait to see what he does in year 2.
Me neither. Again, there's a lot of guys this year that are going to see bigger roles, and there's a lot of guys that are going to have to be relied on a lot more. And that's my main excitement for this upcoming season is what are these younger guys going to prove to the Steelers, man? These guys are ideally the future. The last 3 draft classes are ideally the future for the Steelers. What are these guys going to do? How are they going to improve themselves to showcase that, hey, I am the future. I can represent the logo and the shield of the Steelers for the long haul. And that's why Payton Wilson, to me, is at the top of that list.
Yeah.
But moving on, let's get on to other guys. Sticking with the defense, Joey Porter Jr., he had a very rocky 2024. Not good. I would say he had a sophomore slump because 15 penalties last year.
Yeah, after having 12 his rookie season.
Yeah, not good. 6 of them alone in that first Bengals game, the same game that the offense went off, the same game that Payton Wilson got that scoop and score. Joey Porter Jr. had 6 penalties. That's the most an NFL defensive back has had in a long time in a single game. That's rough. That's the one thing he needs to fix in year 3. 100% is the penalties. Because outside of penalties, I think the guy has improved his tackling. I think the guy is still very strong and sticky in coverage. The problem is he gets too handsy. That's his biggest issue.
Yeah, like off the snap when he's in press man coverage, like the guy is very good. The guy can hold his own against any top receiver. He's done it time and time again. It's just after the 5 or even 10 yards, it's just that's what's Joey Porter Jr.'s got to improve on. He's too handsy. He's too huggy. And when the ball's in the air, I mean, like, if a wide receiver's going up against JPJ, they know that he's handsy. I mean, you might as well just look at the referee and put your hands up.
Right.
Because the flag would just be thrown automatically because, I mean, like I do is just play Hollywood. But
all I got to do is sell, yeah.
But sometimes when it comes to JPJ, it's just like, yeah, you are a little too handsy. Just a little too much. Now, remember the start of the 2024 season, he wasn't as bad with the penalties.
No.
It wasn't as horrid, but toward the later end, including the Bengals game, I don't know what it was, but like JPJ was just not being JPJ.
No.
He wasn't. And I don't know what it was, but JPJ's, I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's just a part of his game, but it's things that JPJ himself has to improve on. But he's got quite the company in the cornerback room that can help him with that.
Yeah, you can't ask for 2 better teachers than Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay.
Future Hall of Famers, Super Bowl champions.
I mean, it's already well enough. He had Patrick Peterson in his first year. He had Minka Fitzpatrick to learn from in his first 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had an array of incredible talent, future Hall of Famers.
Of teachers.
To learn under. So to breed a guy like Joey Porter Jr. to eventually, hopefully, fingers crossed, be the ideal lockdown number 1 corner for the Steelers in the long haul, the Steelers are giving him a lot of great tools, a lot of great teachers, a lot of great minds to learn from. And this year, that's not going to change.
And not to mention, of course, who his dad is.
Right.
Right? Like that's probably the biggest teacher that JPJ has, of course.
Sure.
Is his father, is Peasy. That's always going to be his biggest teacher.
Right.
And his biggest fan at that because he's carrying a legacy. He's carrying his name. Not just the last name, but his legit full name.
Right.
And that's, a lot of weight on his shoulders. I'm sure it is. And, representing the Steelers logo like his dad did, that's more weight to it.
But there's not as much pressure this year because Slay and Ramsey, Ramsey more so probably going to play the slot, but I'm sure they're going to see a lot of outside time. Joey Porter Jr., I would imagine, is going to be on the field pretty much as Ramsey and Slay are, but I don't think he was going to have to worry about the number 1s like he had to worry about last year. I don't think that's really going to be his worry for year 3, which will allow him to really just work on his mishaps, work on his negatives, which are really just the holding penalties, the pass interference, being very handsy and tacky with his penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, in coverage, his separation level is very, very little. He doesn't allow a lot of separation. He's very very sticky in coverage. He's always around the football when it comes to being in coverage. It's just a matter of slowing down or minimizing or stopping altogether the penalties. If he slows that down, I think the Steelers got a serious lockdown guy, because that's what Joey Porter is.
And that's all not to interrupt you, but that's all I ask JPJ to do. I'm not asking him to get like 6 interceptions a year or just be a ball hawk, because coming out of Penn State, we knew JPJ was not that kind of guy.
No, he's not that guy.
We knew that he was a very lengthy guy that had speed and had great arm length for a guy of his position.
Correct.
And good sticky coverage capabilities. And he does bring that. It's just, again, the penalties.
Right.
He's really got to work on that.
That's the biggest issue with him right now. And if he doesn't slow that down, then unfortunately, Joey Porter Jr., I don't know what his future holds for the Steelers.
It could come to a point where his time is reduced on the field and we see more Ramsey and Slay.
Not just that, but, Corey Trice could be knocking on the door. I know a lot of people are still high on him, but Steelers still have a lot of faith in him, because he, too, is learning behind a lot of future Hall of Famers. Except he's going to be on the bench playing special teams most of the time.
Or what about
He'll be the dimebacker guy?
What about free agent addition Brendan Eccles? He's a guy that's versatile, that has experience playing outside too.
Right. I mean, you look at this corner position in general, it's stacked. Ramsey, Slay, Porter, Eccles, Beanie Bishop, Corey Trice. This is the most stacked cornerback core we've had since 2020.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
It's a loaded group.
It's a great problem to have for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. But having those two leaders and those two future Hall of Famers and those minds to work with the young cats like Trice and Bishop and Joey Porter Jr. I mean, you see what the Steelers are trying to do. You see exactly what they're trying to do.
Yeah, just continue to grow, continue to learn from these two veterans, these two future Hall of Famers that we have brought in, that we have for you to learn from, but also learn from your mistakes, learn from your 2 years throughout the NFL. Continue to learn and grow and better your play.
Right.
Not just from who we brought in, who you have to learn from, but learn from your own experiences.
Right.
That's what JBJ's got to do.
Absolutely. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, you could also look at, some of his penalties last year and be like, oh, well, that's very tic-tacky. I mean, you can say about half of the penalties in the NFL nowadays. You know how these refs are.
Of course.
But still, that's where JPJ mentally needs to be very smart, because he knows that these receivers are going to sell. These refs are going to call whatever they see. You touch the receiver even a little bit when the ball's in the air, they're going to call PI. So that's where he himself, and that's where the defensive back position is very tough to learn, very tough to play, because it feels like they're always the enemy. They're always being targeted, no matter what they do. They could play at the best way they could. They could be the best coverage, but God forbid, the ball's behind or whatnot, the refs are going to call something.
You lay a finger on them, and yeah, it's a flag. It's like, it's hard to play defense nowadays. And I get for defensive guys, secondary guys in general, it's tough for them to have to play to this type of style nowadays in the NFL. It's unfortunate.
Right.
Like, the sport of football and defense is just not what it used to be. And I get it, safety procedures and whatnot, but it's just, I feel like it's taken a little too seriously a little bit.
Yes.
But, it's part of the culture now when it comes to NFL defenses, is what defensive backs just got to unfortunately get used to.
Yeah, unfortunately, they got to adjust their game. It's just how the NFL is nowadays.
And that
it's very soft.
That includes JPJ and just his style of play and, of course, the penalties.
But I think that's going to be another adjustment for him, is that, yeah, he's going to have to, in a way, dumb it down a little bit. That way he's not being targeted as much by the refs, or he's not being targeted as much by certain receivers. Because if they're game planning against the Steelers defense and they know they're lined up against JPJ, they're going to know, hey, let's get this guy to get a holding call or a PI call, because that's what he's known for, is holding. Receivers target that.
And that will be a huge target on Porter's back.
For sure. So in that sense, mentally, he's got to find a way to adjust and better his game in that area, or with the penalties entirely. Because outside of the penalties, I feel like we could have a very strong, sticky lockdown guy,
which we have not had since probably like Taylor.
Like that is the good with JPJ is, man, we haven't had a true sticky corner in a long time. All these guys are getting burnt. You guys know who we had to deal with.
Yeah.
And still had to deal with, even with JPJ on the roster. That's the good with JPJ. The bad is, yes, the penalties mainly. But, with who he's got to work with and him coming in year 3 and taking what he can take from year 2 into year 3, I do trust JPJ to better himself and hopefully have maybe a breakout season in terms of coverage and minimizing the penalties, or maybe getting a pick or two. You know, he's not a ball hawk, but he can intercept the ball. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's talk about Calvin Austin. Now, I also want to throw in Roman Wilson here, because you might look at Roman Wilson as a breakout candidate or label him as a breakout guy. I understand that. I'm also on the sense of let's get him started first. Unfortunately, he only played like 5 or 6 snaps in his rookie season.
Yeah, against the Raiders game.
He only had 1 game. He was essentially redshirted all his rookie year. Let's get him going first before we could consider him a breakout guy. Otherwise, I think Roman Wilson could have a very good season. I think he could not exactly burst onto the scene, but be like that number 3 as of now. You know, I think he could earn the trust of Aaron Rodgers. I think he could very well see a certain amount of targets. And one thing about Roman Wilson is, even from his Michigan days, very strong hands, good route running ability, blazing speed. But I'm going to say Calvin Austin as the wide receiver breakout candidate because he's coming into year 4, year 3 of NFL action, but year 4, a contract season. And last year, he was really the number 2. Now, is he the number 2 ideally for the Steelers? Is he a number 2 on any other team? I don't think so. I think he's a number 3 at best. But with what the Steelers have with their receiving targets, he's going to be viewed as the 2. Zach Cassani said it himself, the Steelers wide receiver coach. But after what he did last year with limited reps, limited targets, he garnered the trust of the Steelers staff. And with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, I'm pretty sure Rodgers is really going to look at Calvin Austin as maybe being like his new Randall Cobb. Which, if he were to have a Randall Cobb-like season, I'm not saying peak Randall Cobb, 2014, 2015 Randall Cobb. I don't think that's going to be Calvin Austin. But in terms of trust and getting him targets and being that blazer for Aaron Rodgers, Calvin Austin could very well have a very good season, knowing that he's in a contract year, knowing that he's going to have to step up as the 2 for sure. He's going to be used a lot more. You know, last year, you know, he was coming into year 3 with only 1 full season of action. Now he has 2 full seasons of action. Last year we had Van Jefferson as the 2 for some reason. This year the Steelers are more welcome to the idea of giving Calvin more reps outside or giving him more reps over a certain vet guy like a Robert Woods. That's why I view Calvin Austin as the breakout candidate here, because I think he's going to see a lot more action, as he should.
No, and Calvin Austin in limited, you know, targets and reps on the offense, he made the most of it. And, you know, just the plays that he made, you know, that Chargers game, the Browns game, the Bengals game, you know, like even the Ravens game, you know, here and there.
Or the Giants game. He scored a great touchdown versus the Giants.
He had 2 touchdowns in the Giants game. The receiving touchdown and the punt return touchdown.
Right.
So he's a dual threat player. He's embedded a lot of trust from this coaching staff. I do believe that. And I do trust a guy like Calvin Austin because he's made the most of his opportunities. He's made plays. He's flashed his speed. He's flashed his good hands. He's flashed his toughness. He's not the biggest guy. We know he's not the biggest guy, but my God, he can take a hit. He get right back up, dust himself off, and be like, all right, I'm back in the lineup.
He's 5'9", 160 with an attitude, with some toughness, with some grit.
And keep in mind, you know, I always like to throw this out there. Of the receivers on the Steelers roster right now, he's the guy with the most experience on the team.
He is.
3 years experience, 4 years with the team, but 3 years experience playing. He's got the most experience. And year by year, he has improved, gotten more opportunities, and made the most of them. He's embedded trust in the coaching staff.
Right.
And I think for this year, I don't know what they do for wide receiver 2. I have to imagine Khan is still looking out at the free agency pool, though it's quite slim at the moment. And even the trade market, I couldn't tell you who they were to trade for.
Yeah, because ideally we should still trade for a wide receiver 2. But
ideally, but if they were to give Austin the opportunity and give him the chance at number 2, I wouldn't necessarily hate it.
Or even Roman Wilson.
Or Roman Wilson, though Austin has already proven or showcased like I can be a capable number 2, while Roman Wilson, he's still got to build his way back up.
Exactly, and I think that's a good thing for Roman Wilson.
It is. That's not a bad thing. Roman Wilson, you know, he's still got to prove himself. He's still got to show that he can stay healthy and just improve his game. Stay healthy, improve his game, and just go out there and ball when the opportunity is gifted to him.
Right. The one thing about Calvin I'll say is, you know, because the Steelers offense in the past, I don't know how many seasons, it feels like a decade now, but this offense is not good. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be this year, but the past several years it has not been good. There's not been many guys on the offense that I have been able to look at with great faith. Like, get him the ball. We can finally get something going on offense, right? There were very few guys. One of them is Warren. The other was Najee in some sense. The other was Pickens. And the other, especially last year, was Calvin. I felt like when Calvin got targets, when he got receptions, when the ball was in his hands, I felt a great deal of faith because I knew this guy was going to make some plays. And he definitely did. 15-plus yards a catch. The guy's a playmaker. He's a deep threat. He's got speed. He's got yak ability. Get him the ball, I think good things can happen. Him coming into year 4, year 3 of actual full action, I think he's going to have something to prove. I think he could also be on the verge of breaking out.
And maybe even a contract extension. Because, again, I stated that he has embedded trust into the coaching staff. I could see that trust being, so to a point where they possibly give Austin an extension. And I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Why not?
Especially if he continues to improve. And I am confident that he will continue to improve. Because Austin, man, he's just a guy that just comes into work and just works. He just busts his ass out there.
Yeah, he's not a loud individual, is he? He's not. He's someone that comes in, works, puts his head down, and delivers.
Which is something that the Steelers haven't had in a while at wide receiver.
That's very rare for the wide receiver position. So kudos to Calvin.
Austin brings that, and that makes me a fan of Calvin Austin.
Definitely. Yeah, like I mentioned, Calvin's just one of those guys I have faith in to make plays. So give him the ball. Let's see him make plays. Same thing could be said for Roman Wilson, but let's see what he can do. Sticking with the offense, I already mentioned his name. How about Jaylen Warren? You could argue he broke out in 2023. He had over 800 rushing yards. He was probably one of the offensive MVPs that year, for sure. In fact, he's been
the Matt Canada offense, absolutely.
He's been an offensive MVP ever since he came in as an undrafted rookie in 2022. He's just been, a great spark for the offense. He's someone that comes in and delivers whenever the ball's in his hands. He does everything you ask him to. Literally, he's a complete 3-down potential back. He can pass protect. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run in between the tackles. He can run outside. He doesn't have the greatest speed, but he shows off that breakaway ability, which we haven't had in a long time. Jaylen Warren's a good football player. Reminds me a little bit of a great value Kyren Williams. But like Kyren Williams, he also has fumbling issues, which I'm hoping he can clean up this year. And I'm hoping he can stay healthy. But one thing Jaylen Warren hasn't had the opportunity to, and kudos to Najee for staying healthy, he hasn't had a full chance to actually start. He's been a great compliment. He's been a great rotational, like a 1B to Najee's 1A. And that's not going to change this year with Caleb Johnson. But he's actually going to get a full chance to start this year, where I think he could really showcase that, yeah, I'm on a second-round tender this year, but I, too, should be next in for a contract extension. I think he should because, he, like Calvin, he's one of the few that I trusted to make plays when the ball was in his hands, when he was on the field. I'm like, Warren's on the field, good, get him the ball. And that's going to be the same thing this year. And I think him pairing with Caleb Johnson for Caleb Johnson's, first couple of years, maybe even the extension of his rookie contract, maybe beyond that, I think that's a great duo to have. Jaylen Warren should be part of the Steelers running game for the next couple of years until you feel like it's time to move on. Right now, for this season, he's going to be the 1A to Caleb's 1B. And I feel like even further, he should stick around. Jaylen Warren is a damn good running back. He's going to be a great leader and a great complement to Caleb Johnson. They're going to work very well together. Very well. He's going to be able to teach and coach up Caleb Johnson in certain things, such as pass protection, such as working as a receiving back, which is something Caleb didn't get to do a lot, probably because Iowa was very run heavy. But, give him the opportunity to do that. I think Caleb Johnson could showcase that dual threat ability. But that's where Warren comes in. That's where he's going to see some early downs and probably still see himself as the third down guy. But I think Warren is more than that. I think Caleb Johnson is definitely a potential 3-down guy. But perhaps maybe because of his pass protection, inconsistencies from college, maybe because of the lack of receiving reps, they're going to view Warren as that main 3-down guy initially until Caleb Johnson gets going, which is a good thing. Either way, we're going to see those two guys on the field, hopefully at the same time, but they're going to rotate, and they're going to be the lead guys for the Steelers offense.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Warren, since he came in as an undrafted rookie, I mean, literally throughout training camp, he took that number 2 spot from Benny Snell, if anybody remembers him. And immediately, he and Najee, as a duo, they clicked. Like, it was a good combination of Najee style and Warren style, right? Najee was just, the heavier back that could hurdle a guy, but could also, run through a person and truck somebody, while Warren, he was more of the speedy back, but he also brought muscle. He could also run over a guy. He could take a person's ankles here and there. Like, they were a good complement for one another.
Yeah, guys like a bowling ball.
Yeah. Now that Najee is in Los Angeles with the Chargers, you know, Warren can pretty much take that responsibility as initially the lead back, because I would imagine that he would start off as the lead back while Johnson gets his feet wet. But Warren, with 3 years experience, he's a guy that can take that experience and bring it to a guy like Caleb Johnson, who's been working on his pass protection and work on, you know, his run style and his ball carrier vision, his elusiveness, his balance, and of course the receiving upside that I do feel like Caleb Johnson does have.
Yeah.
Like you say, he didn't really showcase that a lot at Iowa, but that doesn't mean that Caleb Johnson can't do it.
For sure.
I think his receiving upside is very underrated. Warren has breakout capabilities. I do believe that. I felt that since, you know, he showcased his talents in the preseason in his rookie year.
Yeah.
And then 2023, he showcased that, you know, with the Steelers rushing offense. I think it was at a point that he had like 3 straight games of 100 yards rushing or something like that.
He had almost 800 yards that year and over 5 yards a carry. Jaylen Warren.
Yeah. With a bad offensive line at that.
Very bad offensive line. Now, I will also mention that I'm not taking anything away from Jaylen Warren. Actually, I think this is a compliment to Jaylen Warren. I feel like a big reason for his success is his unpredictability when he's on the field. When he's on the field, the defense doesn't know what's going to happen with Warren. Is he going to run the ball? If he is, well, where is he going to run the ball? Is he going to run in between the tackles? Is he going to run outside? Because he can do both.
Mm-hmm.
He has incredible burst. Is he going to receive the football in the receiving game? That's one great part about Jaylen Warren's game is his unpredictability allows him to really work well on the field. Where Najee, you just knew when he was on the field he was getting the ball.
Second to Najee. Always knew it.
You just know it. So Warren really benefited off of that. And I'm hoping that doesn't remain the same with Warren and Caleb Johnson. Mix them up. Use them in a very similar manner. That way it keeps your run game, it keeps both your backs very unpredictable. I've been crying for that for years with Warren and Najee. Now we got Warren and Johnson. I'm hoping that remains the same.
Yeah.
Now, Jaylen Warren is finally getting his chance to get, you know, the starting gig, which you could argue the past couple years he's been the better back. He's been the more explosive back. He's been the most successful back when given the ball. Been more consistent for sure. Now he's going to get his full shot to be the starter and work with a guy like Caleb Johnson. I'm excited for Jaylen Warren. If he can stay healthy and limit the penalties, well, not penalties, the fumbles, I think he could very well have maybe a career season.
Yeah, and just get to the opportunity. Now, I don't want to forget the third running back that we have in that group, and Kenneth Gainwell. I don't want to forget about him because we brought him in from Philadelphia in free agency, and he's a guy that could be a good complement to both Warren and Johnson.
Oh, he will, because he's similar in the way where, you know, he's mostly a receiving back, but he can run. He's got a little bit of speed to him as well. He's a little bit of a shiftier back.
Yeah, and Arthur Smith trying to incorporate those 3 backs is a good thing. I just don't think that with Gainwell a part of this running back group, I don't think it takes away carries or opportunities from Johnson and Warren, and I don't think it should.
No.
Gainwell's a good player, but Warren and Johnson, to me, is the most ideal 1-2 punch at running back. Not just for this year, but even for the future. If Warren can break out and showcase that he is capable of being a lead back while splitting reps with a guy like Johnson or even Gainwell, then yeah, you give him a short-term extension and then you keep that duo between Warren and Johnson. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
I think that's the ideal running tandem, the 1-2 punch for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Warren, you know, he's also playing with something to prove. You know, he's playing for an extension. He's playing for a pay raise. So I'm very excited for Jaylen Warren. I'm excited for Caleb Johnson as well. I think those guys are really going to complement each other nicely.
Yeah.
So Jaylen Warren getting his first gig as the starting running back, literally. Week 1 will probably be his first career start as long as he stays healthy, which is crazy to think in 3 years. But I'm excited for Jaylen Warren this year. I really am. And lastly, guys, we're going to close it out with the guy that definitely needs to break out. We made a video about him already. We're going to talk about him again briefly here. Mr. Broderick Jones out of Georgia. He's got to break out. He has to. Like, this is a serious season for Broderick because the time is ticking. He has 2 years left in his rookie contract, unless, of course, the Steelers exercise his 5th-year option. But he's going to have a really good season for the Steelers to have confidence to exercise that because although he was the best tackle all around in his rookie season on the team, last year, not so much.
I mean, it was just very up and down with the tackles. Like the first half of the season, Dan Moore was the better tackle, and then the second half of the season, Broderick was the better tackle. It's like both tackles were very up and down.
Very up and down. But Broderick now is being finally moved over to left tackle. All I'm going to say about Broderick is give him time. You know, in Georgia, he had one full season and some playoff change prior of starting experience at left tackle. He won back-to-back championships. Now, he's been away from the position for 2 whole seasons, bro. That's valuable time removed from a guy like Broderick for his progression, for the start of his NFL career. And that's the Steelers' fault. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of patience for Broderick. However much time you want to give him is however much time you're going to want to give him. That's your internal feeling. But give him some time, give him some patience, because him on his natural side, I feel like that, him being fully healthy, not dealing with an elbow brace for the first 6 weeks of the season, and the mental relief of knowing that he's where he should have been all along, I feel like hopefully the tools will fall back in line. It needs to. For Broderick, it needs to. For the Steelers, and the sake of the left tackle position, it needs to. So I'm fully rooting for Broderick this year.
Oh, yeah, me big time. You know, I still believe in Broderick, as crazy as it may sound to some people. I still believe in Broderick. I still see the potential. It will take Broderick some time, unless, you know, Broderick is just that type of guy where, hey, you just insert it back to his natural spot and immediately that first-round pedigree comes out. I don't think that happens.
No, because you still got to worry about his technique, his hand placement.
The penalties.
The penalties, absolutely.
Yes, like Broderick still got some stuff that he's got to work on himself. The coaching did him no favors, again, keeping him on the opposite side. No, that was a stupid idea from the get-go. Why they did that, I will never know.
No, but that and him losing weight this offseason, so he's a little more shifty, a little bit more mobile. That's going to allow him to work against the more speedy edge rushers in the AFC North or all around the NFL world. I think that's going to help him out a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
but Broderick himself, he's going to have to stand out. He's going to have to showcase his progression and limit the red flags, limit the mistakes.
For sure.
For the Steelers to even want to consider to exercise his fifth-year option, because if they don't, then, you know, that leaves big question marks for Broderick's future, for not just the Steelers, but, like, what's the future for the left tackle position?
Right.
Are the Steelers going to address the left tackle position after this upcoming season if they don't exercise the option?
Well, I think
that's something I like to try to keep in the back of my mind.
Right, because you always got to think of the future. But, no, I think they give Broderick 2 full seasons. So let's say...
I hope so.
Let's say he has a better season, maybe not what they anticipate, but a better season, and then they decline his fifth-year option. They're still going to give him a full season at left tackle.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they don't decline, or if they decline the fifth-year option, it doesn't exactly eliminate Broderick's future for the team.
No.
With the Steelers. But, you know, it still raises concerns of, like, okay, like, is he going to stay? You know, is that level of concern? Is that questioning? What's going to happen at left tackle now? Are we going to have to experiment with another guy at left tackle?
Well, it really depends how good of a season he has in 2025.
And you know, that's even more weight on Broderick's shoulders for him to prove to himself and even the team and the coaches of, like, hey, I can be that guy for you. Like, time's winding down with potentially his tenure with the team, but this is where Broderick's going to have to make the most of it.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of Steelers fans already labeling him a bust. I understand your thinking, but we've always said until we see him full time at left tackle, we're gonna hold judgment. He wasn't good last year. I'm not defending him and what he did at right tackle, because even though he shouldn't have been there, he had a full season of experience there, and I feel like he was worse than his rookie season. But that's not where he should have been. Now he's where he should be. But give him a little bit of patience, give him a little bit of time, and I'm hoping Broderick can actually showcase that first round potential, that first round grade of why the Steelers traded up for him.
Yeah, man.
Because all I want is a franchise left tackle. All I want is that offensive line to mold together. We need it. So I'm rooting for Broderick this year. But if you guys have any other players you guys want to put out there that could be breakout candidates, or guys that could have bigger roles, or guys you think that could really have a bigger season, whether that's year 3, year 2, year whatever, let us know down in the comments below. Love to hear your guys' suggestions or any other opinions regarding any of the names that we put in this video. But let us know your guys' thoughts. Appreciate y'all for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Follow us on the socials. They are down in the overlay below. And we'll see you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!